They called him the Assassin. Jack Tatum hit like a truck and lived like a ghost. One of those trucks left a man paralyzed in a game that didn't even matter. The Assassin carried that weight till he died. But before the violence, this dude didn't even care about football. Tatum grew up in Passaic, New Jersey, and didn't care about football until he was 16. Most kids in his neighborhood lived for the game, but Jack did other things and didn't even play organized sports. Then something clicked during his sophomore year of high school. Maybe he hit his growth spurt, maybe he got bored watching from the sidelines. Either way, he started playing football and turned out to be incredible at it. By senior year, he was a high school All-American. College scouts lined up. Ohio State coach Woody Hayes wanted him as a running back, so Tatum took the scholarship. But Jack kept sneaking over to the defensive side during practice. If I had to go into a battle and I needed someone loyal and courageous to cover my blind side, I know damn well Woody would be my man, Tatum said about Hayes years later. Lou Holtz, the defensive coach, finally convinced Hayes to move Jack to safety permanently. Best decision Ohio State ever made. In 3 years as a starter, his team went 27-2. They won 2 Big Ten titles and a national championship. The moment everyone remembers from college was when Ohio State played #1 ranked Purdue. Their star running back was Leroy Keys, an All-American who was basically unstoppable. Tatum shadowed him all game. Every time Keys had the ball, Jack was there. Ohio State won 13-0, and the guy became a legend.
And I think anybody that was in Ohio Stadium that day or saw that game on television will never, ever forget the play of Jack Tatum.
In his senior year, Tatum was named National Defensive Player of the Year and placed 9th in Heisman voting. Stan White, a Buckeye teammate, put it perfectly. He was the best football player I ever played with or against, pro or college. O.J. Simpson or Walter Payton or Ronnie Lott, Jack was the best pure football player I ever saw. The Raiders knew exactly what they were getting when they drafted him with the 19th pick in 1971. They needed a replacement for the retiring safety, and they wanted defensive stability. What they got was a once-in-a-lifetime player who is still getting screwed by the NFL to this day. Jack's first NFL game was against Baltimore. He knocked out 2 Colts tight ends, John Mackey and Tom Mitchell, on separate plays. He demolished them. Media guys started comparing him to Dick Butkus because of how hard he hit. In 1972, Tatum made probably the most famous hit in NFL history, and it wasn't even a good thing for his team. During the AFC playoffs against Pittsburgh, the Steelers were trailing 7-6 with about 20 seconds left. Terry Bradshaw threw a desperation pass to Frenchie Fuqua. Jack came flying in and knocked the ball loose with one of his trademark hits. The ball bounced backward right into the hands of Franco Harris, who ran it over 40 yards for the winning touchdown. The immaculate reception was born. Tatum's perfect hit actually cost his team the game. Some NFL fans still think that play was illegal because of the rules at that time. Raiders fans and Steelers fans will never agree on this one. But here's what people don't know. Legendary Raiders coach John Madden said Tatum was never actually called the Assassin during his playing days. That nickname came later after he wrote his 1980 book, They Call Me Assassin. People just assumed it was always his nickname, but it wasn't. The guy became part of the most feared secondary in NFL history, the South Patrol. Him, Willie Brown, George Atkinson, and Skip Thomas, they were so violent that the NFL actually created the 5-yard chuck rule in 1979 specifically because of them. Quarterback Fran Tarkenton said it perfectly. I'd have to wait and hope my guys could get open before I got killed. As Paul Warfield explained, when you went over the middle against Oakland and didn't account for Tatum and Atkinson, you would not be in the game long without being carried off the field. The hits were absolutely real, though. Jack didn't just tackle people, he tried to separate their souls from their bodies.
I will never say that anybody out there in the NFL is trying to kill someone. But if there was somebody, that would be Jack Tatum.
I like to believe that my best hits border on felonious assault, he wrote in his 1980 book. NFL Films ranked him as the 6th hardest hitter in league history. Even Ronnie Lott, the Hall of Fame safety who's considered one of the most vicious players ever, said this: I patented my game after Jack Tatum's. If I couldn't have played like Tatum, I couldn't have played in the NFL. Tatum delivered a memorable hit in Super Bowl XI against Minnesota. Vikings receiver Sammy White caught a pass over the middle. Jack and Skip Thomas hit White at the exact same time. White's helmet flew one direction, his mouthguard flew the other direction, and he was knocked unconscious for a few seconds. The crazy part? White held onto the ball for the first down.
Guy gets hit so hard his equipment comes off and rolled. He got separated from his helmet.
Sports writers said White's helmet looked like he was in the air longer than the football. That hit is still ranked as one of the top Super Bowl moments ever, and it wouldn't even be legal today. That 76 season was Tatum's best. He had 6 interceptions for a career-high 146 return yards and helped the Raiders win their first Super Bowl. But the guy put up numbers too, with 37 career picks, 3 Pro Bowls, 8 times All-Pro, and he still holds the NFL record for the longest fumble return. Against Green Bay in 1972, Jack scooped up a loose ball and took it 104 yards to the house. He was the sole owner of that record until Aeneas Williams tied it in 2000. In a 1978 preseason game against New England, everything changed 2 men's lives forever. Patriots receiver Darryl Stingley was running a crossing pattern. The pass was overthrown and falling incomplete. Stingley was stretching for it anyway, trying to make the catch. At the same time, Tatum was coming at full speed from the opposite direction. They collided while Stingley was off balance and leaning forward. It was a perfectly legal hit by 1978 standards. No penalty was called. The NFL didn't discipline Jack, but when Stingley hit the ground, he broke his neck. He was paralyzed from the chest down over a game that didn't even matter. Stingley spent the rest of his life in an electric wheelchair. He died in 2007. Tatum tried to visit Stingley in the hospital right after it happened, but Stingley's family turned him away.
Well, I went to the hospital, and I wasn't able to get up to see Darryl, but one of the doctors told me that the only people they were going to let up that night was family.
The 2 men never spoke again. Jack never apologized publicly, which pissed people off. I understand why Darryl is considered the victim, he wrote years later, but I'll never understand why some people look at me as the villain. It was one of those things that happens that everyone regrets, said Gene Upshaw, a teammate who later ran the NFL Players Union. The most violent player in football became a loner. The guy who wrote about his hits being felonious assault basically disappeared from public life. But here's where the story gets really messed up. Some media reports lied about what happened on that play. Some reports falsely claimed Tatum hit Stingley in the back. They said on ESPN the other day that I hit him in the back, and that's just a lie, Tatum said in 2007. It's amazing to me that they lie like that when they can just look at the hit. They have it on tape. The NFL would make sure Tatum paid for his reputation, even though it was based on lies. Even Patriots head coach Chuck Fairbanks said the hit was clean, but the media had their villain story and they weren't letting it go. Tatum said he tried to visit Stingley but was still turned away. I feel sorry for what happened to him, he said. I tried to apologize to him a number of times, but people around him wouldn't let that happen. The hit changed Tatum too. According to Madden, it was something that ate on him for his whole life. John Hicks was blunt. He wasn't the same person after that hit. For years, he was almost a recluse. After 9 seasons in Oakland, the Raiders traded Tatum to Houston for the 1980 season. Everyone figured this guy was done, but Jack responded by intercepting a career-high 7 passes for 100 yards, even though he didn't start a single game. He helped the Oilers win the AFC Central Division. Then, the crazy part, Houston lost to his old Raiders team in the first round. Tatum retired after that game. In 2003, Tatum started to get sick. Diabetes hit him hard, and he eventually lost both legs to blood flow problems. When Stingley heard about the amputations, he said something amazing. You can't, as a human being, feel happy about something like that happening to another human being. But here's what nobody knows. While fighting diabetes, Tatum quietly raised money for kids with the same illness that was killing him. He did it all quietly, never wanting recognition.
He was always there for everyone, whether it was in terms of getting ready for a football game or raising funds for diabetes, or maybe most important, raising awareness.
He gave a lot back to the community, Hicks said, but he didn't want a lot said about it. The man everyone called the assassin spent his final decades trying to save children's lives. He never wanted credit or publicity. He just wanted to help. Jack died on July 27, 2010 from a massive heart attack. He was 61 years old and waiting for a kidney transplant. And here's the crazy part. Jack Tatum still isn't in the NFL Hall of Fame. 3 Pro Bowls, 8 times All-Pro, a Super Bowl ring, 37 interceptions, and the NFL record for longest fumble return. The assassin belongs in Canton.